Only a smooth-brained dummy would buy a Raptor with this thing existing. I'll include a link to the Doug Smith Rams website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get right into it. Under the hood is a twin-turbo 3-liter inline-6 that goes through an 8-speed, fuel economy is 14 around town, 16 on the highway, with power outputs being 540 horsepower, 521 pound-feet of torque. Ram for the 26 model year now has a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, so your eco-poop can't compare. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Hurricane high output badge there. You've got the venting on the hood. Is that functional? Not really, but the center is, and you've got the marker lights in the center too. The RHO gets the new fancy light design. Kind of has a fun animation. When you go from the lock to unlock, you can see it unfills or fills in depending on whether you're locking it or unlocking it. Hollow Ram logo there on the center, recovery points at the bottom, skid plate protection, fog lights too. And this thing looks so much meaner than a Raptor. 325 by 65 by 18 is the tire and wheel setup. You've got the Goodyear Wranglers. It's a great tire in terms of durability, and it's pretty darn capable off-road, and it can handle the snow too. The RHO also has beefed up components underneath. Giant fenders and fender flares with a little bit of venting. We got the Ram logo, two-tone paint job with side steps. And the Bilstein Blackhawk shocks, which are an active system just like the Fox shocks on the Raptor. And again, the side profile on this, super wide, super aggressive. When it comes to key fob features, we have our lock and unlock function, remote start, tailgate drop down, and then the RHO badge on the back. You got the sliders for the cargo tie-down points, LED bed lights in the bed, and it has bed liner from the factory. Ford, they always cheap out on that. Or I should say they typically cheap out on that. Anyways, tailgate, very easy to lift up, and then all the badges on the back blacked out, which is cool. Also got the new taillight design, and then you guys can see here with the bumpers, you got recovery points in the back. And, you know, this isn't the loudest truck on the planet, but take a listen. Again, this competes against the EcoBoost. Not too shabby. That will cap things off for the exterior of this beast. Let's now check out the interior. This is a baseline RHO, and the interior is still nicer than a Ford's. I mean, look at the build quality, the material use. Ford does not understand this. Also got really nice leather seats. Look at that with the suede inserts. Little buckets on either side that are removable. There's storage underneath the seat. There is also USB ports in the back and an outlet. Legroom back here is great. Look at that. We got a bunch of little holders there, and headroom, of course, also good. Let's now check out the front. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. The mirrors also do power fold in, and the front two windows are automatic. And then again, more of that nice trim here on the front door panel. 1,401 pounds of payload capacity, so very similar to a Raptor. RHO there on the seat, nice bolstering, perforated down the center. Power adjustable with lumbar support. The passenger seat's also power adjustable with lumbar support. There's a nice finish on the pedals, and the pedals also power adjustable. Let's fire her up. Perforated trim on either side of the steering wheel. You got the cool paddles there that are in a funky shape because there's radio controls in the center of the paddles. You've got adaptive cruise control, regular cruise control if you want to use that. Controls here for the center digital gauge cluster. Yeah, full digital gauge cluster in the center here, which you can change between digital, analog. Oh, sorry, let me give you a little bit more time with that. There's analog, there's digital. We have a sport view and then a Baja view. Now the baseline TRX is just going to have a backup camera. If you want a 360, just get the loaded up one. But you still get a big 12-inch display with analog controls on either side for the climate, for the radio. 6 auxiliary switches. Look at that. Trailer brake controls, parking sensors too. And you'll note, no cooled seats, but it does have heated seats and heated steering wheel. And pretty good response time with the screen. It's relatively quick. It does take a second for some stuff to load up. Finally, we've got a bunch of drive modes for both on-road and off-road use. The exciting ones, Sport Mode and then Baja. You can rock crawl with this thing too, though. Drive mode select is just down below. We also have our launch control in this area. The four-wheel drive select. This is full-time four-wheel drive with a rear locking differential and a 2-speed transfer case. It also has off-road cruise control, and you can turn off auto stop start if you don't like that. We've got some aux ports and phone charging pad. Got the real shifter with the TRX. Really nice trim here on the center console, RHO badge there. And yeah, plenty of storage space with that. Also RHO on the top glove box lid, and there is soft touch trim across the dash. Finally, this does have a power sliding rear window. The button for it is just right there. So the greedy Starbucks sipping sissies over at Ford are not offering a base model Raptor anymore. But look at this. $69,995 is the base MSRP in this RHO. Just has the off-road running boards, destination 2. $73,285. That's like 10 grand less than a base Raptor. Let's see how this performs. Well, let's see how a real truck drives. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, the Raptors, don't get me wrong, it's cool. I've owned a few. I also owned a Ram TRX, and Ram just offers a better value than Ford with this Baja truck. They did, again, the TRX was a great example. When that first came out, I don't know if you guys remember, back in 2021, that was centuries ago. The TRX started at $70,000, fully decked out, it was $95,000. At the same time, a Raptor started out at about $70,000 for the V6. There was no V8 Raptor. That didn't happen until 2023. And the fully loaded V6 Raptor was about mid-80s, roughly, for the price. So there was a ton of price overlap, and you could basically get a supercharged V8 from Ram or a dinky turbo V6 from Ford. And now you can either get a turbo V6 from Ford that's less dinky compared to Ram's powertrain, because this is a turbo inline 6, but the Ram still has more power for less money. Ram just always offers a better value than Ford. And why is that? Well, because Ford is riding on the coattails of the Raptor name, right? They were the first to market with a Baja truck, so they can charge more because of that, but you're not really getting more. And here, we'll pop it into the Baja mode for a second. I know that might be confusing to you guys. We got train tracks coming up. Now this keeps it in four-wheel drive auto, by the way, so this is fine to do on road. But look at this over the train tracks. Boom. Nothing. You do that in like a regular truck and kind of wishy-washy all over the place. This thing handles it like a dream. By the way, I did not lose contact with the ground, for those of you wondering, but we did kind of careen a little bit over the train tracks. Just keep that between us, guys. We don't need to talk to the dealership about this at all. Just demonstrating how cool the RHO is. The suspension's fantastic in this thing. Just as good as the Raptors. The Raptor does technically adjust quicker with those Fox shocks. What that looks like in the real world is that the Raptor feels a little bit more comfortable over like really rough terrain. I'm not talking about big compression. I'm talking about like little rocks. Basically, when you're going down a dirt road and there's a bunch of little rocks and pebbles, the Raptor, you'll feel less of it than the RHO. But in terms of big compression and all of that, the RHO handles it just as well as the Raptor. The important stuff. And you can have more fun through the big compression because you have almost 100 horsepower more in the RHO. And the power delivery is significantly smoother. V6s are not smooth. They're pretty rough engines. Inline 6s, very smooth with power delivery. If you don't believe me, go and drive one of these. Or if they don't have an RHO on the lot, go and drive a regular 1500 or a Grand Wagoneer or any of their other vehicles that have the inline 6, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. This engine sounds good too, buttery smooth. That is extremely important off-road. That smoothness gives you tons of control. So in conclusion, more train tracks. Look at that. Nothing. It ain't nothing to the RHO. This gives you everything the Raptor has at a lower price point. And on top of that, it gives you more horsepower. And if you're going to talk about, oh, the Raptor's more reliable, 100,000 mile warranty. Stop it. So if something does go wrong, like, are you really going to keep your Raptor or your RHO for more than 100,000 miles? The answer is no. You're going to get bored of it after like 60,000 miles, and then you're going to go try this, and then you're going to go try that, right? So the truck's going to be covered under warranty for your entire ownership. If anything happens to the engine, Ram's paying for it, not you. Go and drive an RHO and learn what it's like to drive a real truck, and learn what it's like to live the life of someone who's not a Starbucks sipping sissy. But seriously, like, all jokes aside, I don't understand buying a Raptor V6 when this exists. I understand the R, but the V6, nah.